Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today to Unexpected Connections 2020. It all adds up. We have a program that we're really looking forward to diving into, and we believe that you will really get something out of these honest conversations and segments that are coming up. Just a quick introduction of ourselves. I'm Cherise Toon, and this is my co-host, Eugene Can. We're going to be your hosts and moderators throughout the day.
Cherise and I are from MAEKAN, which is guided by curiosity. We're constantly looking to uncover the unexpected connections in creativity and the people that embody them. For us, MAEKAN is an original storytelling platform at its purest through captivating audio, engaging words, and beautiful visuals. Please visit our website, uc-2020.com for the full program and for more information about all our speakers. You can also follow us at Unexpected Connections on Instagram, where you can ask us questions that will then serve to our speakers. Today's event is a virtual fundraiser in support of those deeply impacted by COVID-19, as well as in support of the Black Lives Matter movement.
And just to reiterate what Julia said, you can donate wherever you're watching from on YouTube. You can donate on our website, uc-2020.com. We chose our theme this year to reflect our belief that individual contributions and incremental actions really matter, and it's true. Every choice we make, big or small, it all adds up. So thank you in advance for your donation. Thank you as well to our sponsor, Yet Another Studio, an independent research practice that helps people bring more rigor to their curiosity. The first segment we have coming up in just a moment is a conversation between John C.J. and Sarah Andelman.
John C.J. serves as the president of Global Creative for Fast Retailing, the parent company of Uniqlo and other apparel brands in the U.S., Europe, and Asia. Previously, he was with the award-winning creative agency Wieden & Kennedy for 21 years, where he served as the global creative director and partner of the firm. Sarah Andelman was the buyer and creative director of Colette from 1997 to 2017. She's famed for discerning fashion edits and curating unique collaborations. She now runs Just an Idea, a consulting company building bridges between disciplines. John is calling in from Portland, Oregon, and Sarah is calling in from Paris, France. We're excited to have them today talking about evolving as creatives and collaborations. Let's head over to John and Sarah.
Hello, everyone. This is John Jay in Portland, Oregon, and I have a very special guest here from Paris. I have Sarah Andelman, who has been my longtime friend, and she has been so gracious to give us her time today from Paris. So welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, John.
You know, this title, Unexpected Connections, we are certainly facing a future full of unexpected things. We have, there's one thing that is certain is that there is a future. After all of this, you know, all of the disasters and all of the challenges that we're facing, there is a future. And what we do with that future is very, very important. And the reason why I invited Sarah to be our guest today is that she exemplifies this idea of taking risks, of evolving and changing yourself in order to be more creative and in order to be relevant for the future. So Sarah, of course, everyone knows your background about Colette. We know that you're a co-founder, and today you're the founder of Just an Idea. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on Colette, and I want to start with a very. I hope this is not too difficult, but what was the original concept of Colette?
Colette started with a location in Paris, 1997. So you have to really travel back in the time and to imagine the situation in 1997. Internet was not what it is today. And we couldn't find in Paris many brands we like. So that was the original idea from this location to bring together brands we love from fashion, design, culture, and to bring them together, to have a cafe where we could have lunch all day long, to have a gallery space where we could introduce new artists, and to bring together all this community.
Well, obviously you were very successful, and obviously the concept of closing it at the height of your popularity, it was just an extraordinary bold move to create yet another bold concept called Just an Idea. But let me just stay on Colette just for a little bit longer, just before we move on. Any thoughts, any favorite moments in your history of those 20 years? And I know it's like picking your favorite child, but favorite moments in 20 years of Colette?
It has been a fantastic adventure with new things happening every day, every week, every month. We would transform ourselves. So it's difficult to pick just a few moments, but come to my mind the anniversaries, how we celebrate our 5th anniversary, the 10th, the 15th. And the last one was the 20th anniversary, where we organized this big event with architecture. We brought to Paris the beach in the Musée des Arts Décoratifs. And especially now when I think of this huge space filled with these little balls and kids, older people, all these different people jumping and having so much fun, it's a great memory. And we, at Colette, we had lots of unique, special collaborations, which was a good way to end this 20 years of...
Was that installation, Sarah, was that the beach?
Yes.
Was that the beach? So could we pull up visual number 12 and also visual 13? And there's a series of visuals that shows this, because the installation is extraordinary.
No, we try to find a way to celebrate outside from Colette, and even if we did lots of things in the gallery, in the windows, but yes, I was really happy. In March, we didn't announce it was going to be, we were going to close. We announced in July, so it was just a few months before to announce, and it was a great challenge to bring this. I don't remember how many, maybe more than 300,000 balls, but it brought so much happiness. It was open for 1 week, and we had lots of friends. It was
image, Sarah, on the screen. Tell me what are we looking at there? That huge image of the white pathway there. What is that?
I think it's an architecture. So it's Daniel Archam and Alex are doing lots of art installation, design installation. They maybe did. I saw images from the installations they did previously, I think in Washington, I'm not 100% sure. And I thought we need to bring this to Paris. And often that was my philosophy with Colette. We need to bring this to Paris. And I started to think of location. This is an extension of the Louvre. This is a Musée des Arts Décoratifs. It's 5 minutes walking from Colette. And we asked them, can we organize this? Usually this space is used for exhibitions. They do some... there was a few fashion shows, and we managed to find the right week we could get the space and bring the ball together. And it was logistics something to find, of course, to recycle them after, to find sponsors to help us. But at the end, I just to prepare went through images and to see. I invited the kids from the school where is going my son, and it was such a great mix of people, which reflects the clients, customers we had at Colette. It was so many different people, and it was really an happy celebration, happy moment.
So could we go to image number 5, which is shows 2 very famous blue circles, 2 blue spheres that become very iconic in the world. And I want Sarah to ask you, because of my background in graphic design, I just had to ask you about the origins of that logo, which then you later, as you opened Just an Idea, you turned it into a 3-dimensional shape as a gift to some special friends. So tell me a little bit about the origins of the Colette logo.
So you have 1997, we found the location, we found the concept, we still have to find the name and visual identity. Nobody knows us, and we don't want anybody to know us. My mom, myself, the team was very, very small. And we need something simple for the shopping bags, for the business cards, and I remember the discussion about the name, and my mom is at the origin of the concept. And when someone said, why not Colette? And she's very discreet, but she accepted because it was this old French name with a new space, very modern. And the logo, my friend Guillaume Wolf, I think you know him, came with this concept of these two simple circles without dates, of course. And when we started, it was orange, and there was a baseline. Nobody knew us. So in addition to these two dots, we had style, design, art, food. And it was very important, these 4 words, to introduce ourselves, to explain what you could find in this space. And for many years, we changed the color of the logo from orange to green to red to gray twice a year. And at some point, we did a little, all the possible colors, and we decided to stop on blue. And originally, it was really the sign for the shopping bags, and that's it. I didn't want to use this logo on a T-shirt or on a product. Colette was a space to welcome all kinds of brands, and we were not a brand. And it's interesting how after 20 years, maybe 10, 12, 15 years, we decided to use a little more the logo as a signature.
Fantastic. So, Sarah, you mentioned the beach is one of the highlights among your favorite projects in your 20 years. Any others that come to mind?
I mean, so many. It was a great experience to work with Chanel, to work with Hermes, to work with very prestigious brands who were not working with multi-brands, to meet artists from the gallery space. We had so many. And we have a little surprise with a documentary, which will come out at the end of the year, which I would have never commissioned. But when we announced we were going to close, there was Hugues and Eliane Lawson Body contacted me and asked, can we come to shoot Colette regularly for the last weeks? And they were friends. We didn't expect anything, but they spontaneously came a lot, and they filmed the shop atmosphere, the clients, the designer we work with, the team. And there will be this souvenir, this testimony, which will give an idea to many people who maybe heard about Colette and don't know what it is. And there is this little movie where, if you want, we can see a trailer, which will maybe bring a little of the Colette energies.
Well, Sarah, thank you. Such a treat for you to talk us through that. So can we show the teaser of this documentary that will be out sometime this year? Let's go to image 1.
You going to Paris, we going to Colette.
When an idea like this starts, 20 years ago, it must blow everyone's mind.
Every time you walk in there, there's an expectation that you're going to get blown away by something new.
Ça a été le magasin le plus influent du monde pendant de très nombreuses années.
Il y avait tout pour tout le monde.
When I heard about the closing, I was in disbelief. I'm still in disbelief.
Pourquoi maintenant? Pourquoi comme ça? Et surtout, pourquoi tout court?
C'est une histoire d'amour au cœur de Paris.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us. Go ahead, please.
You mentioned Chanel, if you want to.
Yes, could I pull up image 7 and then 8? I'd love for Sarah to chat about this a little bit, because I love this logo and I love how it was used, and it was one of my favorite projects of recent years. I
mean, we worked with, of course, Monsieur Lagerfeld, who we miss a lot. Was a fantastic man. He used to come a lot to Colette to shop so many different things, fashion, but books and music. And of course, it was a dream for a long time to work with Chanel. We did a pop-up in what used to be a gas station across the street. And it was a fantastic experience with Kevin Lyons painting the shop, with artists painting on Chanel bags. And it was just maybe 10 days. And before we close, we had to invite again Chanel for a last partnership. And they took the space at the second floor. We had these windows with this, our names together. And it was a symbol of what Colette could achieve with the power of Monsieur Lagerfeld, and to bring, before we did project with them, around their sneakers, around their backpacks. So I think they realized, they acknowledged that at Colette they could touch different people than in the Chanel shops. And I think for both of us it was, of course, we had the sneakers, Chanel, Pharrell, Adidas launch, which was one of these special moments in Colette's history to try to keep everybody happy. And it's a great souvenir.
Well, Sarah, you obviously have had a great partnership with some of the most famous designers and great brands and fashion and so forth. But I think what is so interesting is your relationship to artists, young artists, unknown designers, and how you have spent 20 years of discovering new talent, and you continue to do that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't just mention our mutual friend, Kevin Lyons, who you have a very, very special relationship with, amongst many artists, but Kevin in particular comes to mind. And I have to share a story with the audience a little bit. I was very blessed and honored many years ago when Sarah said, would you write an article in our magazine at Colette and talk, give me your impression about Kevin's art and so forth? And I said, yes, of course, I'd love to. And typical me, I took too long. I wrote too much. And Sarah probably was so frustrated. I sent in probably 10 times more copy than what she needed. But what happened was that I started, in order to write about Kevin, I had to research the history of Colette and how it started and so forth. And I got so interested in the history of what Sarah and her mother did that I kept writing. And finally I said, oh my God, I have to write about Kevin too. So I sent it in at the last minute, right, probably 2 days after deadline, and I got an email back from Sarah. I said, John, we couldn't, she didn't say it this way. She was much nicer. She said, I don't think we could deal with this. We're just going to run the whole article. We're not going to cut anything. And we'll just run the whole article. So that's one of my prized possessions. I have that long piece I wrote for you in your magazine. Can we pull up image number 11, please? And this is, Kevin, talk about a little bit about what this is, Sarah.
No, Kevin Lyons is one of these incredible encounters through the history of Colette. So we have the gallery space where we would organize monthly exhibitions. And Kevin, because I have such a bad memory, but keep telling, I think it is for the 2007 exhibition, I asked many artists, can you draw one image for the year, what you expect, what you hope? And Kevin used to draw monsters only for his family, friends, and I don't remember how I saw them through a magazine or something, and then after this exhibition, I invited him for a show in the gallery space where he drew these monsters, and then they really became part of our life. I kept asking Kevin to different projects through collaboration with brands. We did socks with stones. We did, I can't remember how many, but it was, Kevin would always, he's one of these artists to draw by hand and always do new monsters, and not that you can't really vectorize. So it was not always easy, it would not be a copy. He would want to do each project something custom for the project. Until the end of Colette, he was here. He did the last paintings on the garage door on the side, and we, of course.
Let's go to image. While Sarah's speaking of this art, let's go to image 10.
Is it for we invited him for this project with the Hello Kitty anniversary, and of course he would really with his simple monsters. It's a good way to represent. Maybe that's too much to say the values of Colette, but it is to be light, to be fun, to be up, and to we are all different, and we all appreciate that. And I don't know, it has always been very, very positive energy only through Kevin.
Always made you smile. Every time you saw his work in the store, it always made you smile. Well, let's move on, because of the really, really interesting stage that of your life now has begun a couple of years ago now, but just an idea. I'm going to have to ask you, what is the concept of just an idea?
Of course, it's a continuation from Colette without the retail. It's to help brands to develop collaboration, to develop pop-up, lots of curating, but I kept it very open. It's ideas for lots of different projects, and that's what is inspiring for me, to help artists, brands, and it's to create connection, to build bridges between different talents. So that's a concept.
And what is in your mind, since the name of your company, your service, your consultancy is just an idea, what is an idea?
It's a vast question, and I'm sure you will reply better than me after. In my mind, there is two kinds of ideas. I would say, and I speak in general, and there is an illumination idea, the one you have suddenly under the shower, or you wake up in the middle of the night and you think this is a new obsession, and you are absolutely convinced that's the right thing to do. And there is a one more progression, a brainstorming, and suddenly you manage to verbalize something you had in your mind for a few days. And it's fast, I think. And but I picked it again to be able. The name came for my company through working with Chitose from Sakai on her pop-up at the second floor of Colette, and we were in this meeting, and I kept adding new ideas on why don't we do this and this and this, and that's just an idea, and it just came to my mind that I kept repeating this, so that's how.
Let's go to image 18, since you mentioned Sakai. And one of the things that it's unusual and is pure you, when you normally in vernacular, when you say, oh, it's just an idea, it means it's something that you haven't made happen yet. It means something in the future. It's something that you're thinking about, but you made it happen immediately. You made just an idea happen immediately. We have on the screen some images. I'd love for you to talk about what this very important client of yours, what you did together. So let's start with 18 and we can go through 19 and 20 as Sarah speaks about this.
But Craig Darcel, this character, is like Kevin Lyons, has been part of Colette family for many years. We have done many work projects together. And this project with IKEA started before we announced we were going to close. And with IKEA, any project will take minimum 3 years, I think, to happen. I didn't know that back in the days, and actually I contacted them for our 20th anniversary to try to do something together. So at Colette, we had some IKEA basic furniture, and we had artists who came in the gallery space to paint and it was a really, really fun project. But then the discussion continued, and I didn't want to do just Colette against this blue dot, so suggested to Craig Darcel, because we both could immediately imagine his character as a doll, and then we walked through the basic of IKEA and to give them this twist, which would be Colette touch, and it came out last year. And we jumped to Sakai pop-up shop because in Paris, we had this great relationship with Chitose. I will always remember the first time I went to Sakai showroom and to see there is something new. This brand is really, really strong. Is different and will go far. And for many years, Colette was the only shop in Paris to sell Sakai. She didn't need to do a fashion show. She didn't have a PR. And we sold it very well because it was the right clothes. You try it, you want to, and we did. I was very touched that she asked me to help for this pop-up in Paris. We did collaboration with French brands like APC, Petit Bateau, Hervé Chapelier, and she had this collaboration with Gel Shop for the design of the space, and it was a very nice project.
Fantastic. So, Sarah, what's so interesting is that while major brands are calling upon you for help and for your creative thinking and your ideas, of course, you are rather anonymous in this process. You have made a very obvious choice to stay in the background and not be upfront in it. Can you talk a little bit about why that is?
No, it's super important. I never like to be on the front, and especially now with this new company where I help project. It's not about me. It's about the brands I will work with, and that's. I'm here to give a perspective from outside, to give some inputs, and I think many brands are too busy with all the content they need to do all the time, and I think they appreciate to have fresh ideas from me, but after they will adapt these ideas with their own process, their own way of working, and I'm here just to pass, and not like I used to do with Colette, a project from the beginning to the end and participate to everything. With the brands I work now, I'm from outside, and I'm very happy to stay in the shadow, even if I help to create some connection to have these things move on.
Well, Sarah, in the world, all businesses are feeling a great sense of challenge today to be relevant and so forth. And you've been such a great collaborator for major fashion brands and discovering new fashion brands and new creators. I have to ask this question because I'm involved in it too, but is fashion still relevant?
No, I think right now everybody asks themselves lots of questions. But yes, for me, fashion will still be relevant. It's a way, first it's a form of art for me, like there is creativity in fashion, like you can find in art, in music, in photography. And yes, there is lots of lessons to learn. It started, I think, already in the last years to question the way fashion works, the fashion weeks, the fashion system. But at the end of the day, we still need to get dressed every morning, and the way what you wear express a lot. So yes, for me, fashion is still relevant. It will have some things are changing and will continue to change, hopefully. But I think so. And I would be, can I ask you the same question? What do you think?
Yes, and I think that I am fortunate to have entered a new phase in my creative career. You know Mr. Yanai, and you know the organization. I didn't realize what a change my mindset. I have this phrase I use a lot. You have to unlearn to learn again. And so for me, as a creative director, having to look at fashion and look at aesthetics and look at design and look at business through a completely different lens. I worked a lot on exclusivity, and that was fun. But now when people ask me, and I'm trying to answer your question as short as possible, Sarah, so forgive me. What do you do now, John? What's your job now? And I say my job is to bring the highest possible quality of experience to the greatest number of people in the world. And that means value, and values are very important, but value. So my lens towards style or fashion starts with respect everyone from the beginning. Made for all is our philosophy. So we have to bring quality and bring that sense of style and quality together, but for everyone. So that makes me have to look at the world in a slightly different way. But culture, style, concept, all adds to fashion, and it is an art form. And I do think it's an important art form that happens to drive a lot of business as well. So my view has changed towards fashion a lot, but I enjoy it immensely, and I enjoy being inspired by all the typical people that we look at in the world, but my entry point into it is now very, very different. This made for all has been a very liberating thing. It has forced me to look at the world in a very different way, which I'm so happy to be going through this experience. Sarah, of course, everyone used to, I hope they stop asking you this now, but everyone was asking you, do you miss it? Do you miss it? Do you miss it? Do you miss the store? And of course, your office is on top of what was the store, right? So it's very close for you. You walk down the same street and you go up so forth. But your answer was really interesting. I saw somewhere you said, I don't miss it at all. I don't miss the store, but I miss the gallery. I miss the art gallery. Tell me why. Why is it that part that you miss so much?
If you think about it, for 20 years, we had a new exhibition in the gallery space every month. I loved the process to look for the artist, to meet the artist, to invite him in the space, and to see what he would do within this space, and how each exhibition would be different. We would take off the previous show on the Saturday night, paint white or other color if the artist would pick something else on the Saturday night, meet on the Sunday morning at 10 a.m., have one day to install, on Monday morning, open the shop with a new exhibition. And I love the interaction with the artists, to work on the exhibition, and sometimes to try to have publish a little fanzine, catalog, postcards, some little souvenir. And I think art is so important in our life for the emotion. On our little gallery space, it was not like an art gallery, it was in the middle of this shop. But with time, more and more, I started to ask the artist, start from the gallery space, but you can use this wall here, and you can use this wall here, and if you want to do a window, you can. Slowly but surely, they had more and more space to work, to take inside Colette. And no, that's true. There was a great gratification to introduce an artist, to have some people who would come at Colette and discover an artist, fall in love with, and follow his work after. And no, it's true. I miss this part, and I will try in my project in the future to find again this process.
You would often send me an email and say, John, I don't know if this artist is relevant for you or not, but you should know who this is. And you would send me these names, and then I'd, of course, obviously immediately go look up this artist and try to meet this artist and so forth. And, for me, we forget the power of art sometimes because we confuse it with commerce. And you know, there is commerce, of course, in it. But for me, the role of the artist, and then when I think about the young ones that you discover and give them an opportunity, it's so important. And when I think about the power of the artist, I mean, an artist to me, their skill, their ability is to see things that we don't see, that we normal people just don't see. Artists have a way of creating emotions and helping us find emotions that we don't even know we have until we are forced to react to something. And art has that very special role. And you know, I think sometimes people can be very cynical about it and say it's all about commerce, but it's really the purest source of inspiration for me. That to really see something, see the world in a way that I just didn't know that was the way, you know, that someone could see it. So I agree with you. I mean, I miss your gallery too, by the way. So Sarah, you both of us, you stopped at the height of the popularity of this iconic brand in Paris to do this extraordinary consultancy to follow up, you know, on your dreams and everything. And I think that many young creative people or people who may be listening in don't really maybe understand how they can evolve. You know, what is the importance of evolving? Because within the 20 years of Colette, you kept evolving Colette, but now you've taken even a bigger step. So what is this? What are your thoughts about evolving as a person, as a creator, as a business person?
It's difficult, but for me, it has to be organic. We evolved without thinking about we have to evolve. And it's a little contradictory. I would say we need to have goals. We need to have some values. You need to create your own path. But then life is stronger and there is some accidents and they can be positive. And you have to first believe in yourself and you have to do what you want. I think that's very important. And you will evolve naturally. My philosophy, it has to be very organic, to not think too much about it, to not be too impatient. It will take the time it takes, but for me, that's my way of thinking.
Several key thoughts in what you just said. It will take the time that it takes. And I'm sure when you interview young people, many of them will say to you, when you say, what do you want to do in your life? Or what do you want to do in your career? They'll say, oh, Sarah, I just want to do what you do. You know, and then they may be 23, 25 years old. So that idea that it will take the time that it takes. Can you talk a little bit about that?
No, I think it's very important to find yourself, to do things, to not wait or whatever. But when you say young people, I always I'm a little scared also when it's they think like their life or their career will change with one post on social media. And I have a little of this. Can you share? And I'm happy to do it because that's transmission, information, that's how it works. But they should, most important, maybe it's, I'm not sure if I'm right, but to not look for the approval of other people, but they just have to create, find people to share with, but it has to be real. It's not in our world, everything goes so fast with social media, and I think it's more the human to try to find a space, even if it's in the street, to explore and to find what makes what you believe in not necessarily different, but even if I think it's important to bring something a little unique, like you say, a new way. Art is a way to escape from reality and through your anything, through fashion, to find what makes it your vision unique. And
you said, of course, the magic words for eternity is You must find a way to do what you want to do. Now, of course, that holds true for probably all of us, right? But how do you know what you want to do?
It's I'm not, because I've never really, I've been very lucky, and I've been always free to do what I want to do. And I know it's not as easy. I know it's not as simple. But I think even if you have inspiration, even if you have to learn a lot, you have to educate yourself, and I believe in this magic star, which tells you what you should pursue, and maybe you will realize at some point it's something else, and that's okay. What is important is to express, to try, and I think it will naturally, your path will be in front of you. But I know it's maybe not as simple, but I want to believe in. I think of a certain karma.
Well, Sarah, it's one of the things that's so interesting in my career is that I live in Tokyo, New York, and Portland. So I live in different cultures and different societies, and I live and work in all those cities. And sometimes we take things for granted. So as an American, I'll use words like inspire, which actually doesn't exist in Japanese. I remember when I opened the office in Wieden Kennedy in Tokyo back in '98, I talked a lot about dreams. Well, my filter, my thought, my definition of a dream was, oh, it's something that I don't have today, but if I really work hard, if I really work at it, it might happen. It might become reality. In some cultures, that's not true. Their definition might be, I don't have it today, and I'm sorry, John, I will never have it. So I think that understanding cultures is really one of the great things about what you did. It was a store, but quite frankly, it was much more than that. It was a cultural exchange. And what you're doing now with your ideas, just an idea, is like you are traveling the world, creating these cultural exchanges, creating empathy and sympathy for different ideas. Have you looked at it this way? Have you considered it this way? And so forth. I'm sure there's for the lack of a better words, a high and low culture, which almost doesn't even exist today. But that ability for what you created. So Sarah, this has been incredible for me to listen to some of these ideas, for me to put you on the spot and say, is fashion relevant anymore? Or what is an idea? This has been great fun for me. I hope it's been fun for you as well. I wanted to share with the audience that Sarah and I will be happy to answer questions if you send them by text. And you should go to uc-2020.com and ask your questions, and they'll be posted, and Sarah and I will put some extra time in this. We didn't want to interrupt our discussion and try to take away from the other speakers today, so we thought we'd give it much more care if we could answer the questions via social media for you. And so, Sarah, this has been an amazing treat for me. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping out Unexpected Connections.
Thank you so much, and it has been a great pleasure, and I can't wait to meet again in person, and of course, I can't wait to reply all the questions you may.
So thank you to our audience. Thank you so much for listening in this morning, and we look forward to your questions. And thank you to Unexpected Connections for this opportunity.
Thank you very much.